All right, happy Monday, guys. Welcome back to my stock market technical analysis video. So I've been thinking all day and looking for things to do a video on today. I mean, there's always something to show, but I want to show the things that I think are important. And today's really been a kind of a creeping market, just a grinding market higher. And there hasn't been a whole lot of technical change from Friday. However, I just spotted something. I want to point it out. I think it's really interesting. And I don't know what it means, but I definitely want to point it out. So, all right, what we're going to look at here is the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is the stock market. That's 500 large cap stocks. Now, the FANG stocks are very heavily weighted in the S&P 500, so tech is a major factor for that. However, you do want to make sure that you're tracking the S&P 500 to give you an idea of where the market is heading. When I talk about the market, I'm talking about the S&P 500. The tech is just a small, it's just a sector, and we're trying to determine where the market goes. If you know where the market goes, then you can you can make trades based on various sectors. So here's what I'm seeing. And, one thing you always want to look for is volume. Look at the volume today on the S&P 500. It's the worst volume I've seen for a full day's worth of trading, really in a very, very long time. So if I roll it back here, and now there's only 20 minutes left of the trading. And you can see here, if I mark this line out, let me mark this out right here. Here's where we're at as of right now. And I cannot find a lower trading day volume until I zoom in, and you can see all the days, even back here at the highs of February, we had higher volume than today, except for right there. There's a day, December 24th, 2019. Christmas, basically. Christmas Eve for the, and so that was the last time we had this low a volume was the Christmas holiday. And even, it's just remarkable that this is the kind of volume we're getting. And if I go back here, you can see, as I look at all the volume, the really low volume trading days, I'm just not seeing this low of volume. It's just really rare. You don't see it too often. Now, we are in the summer months. People go on vacation. But you can see it's just anemic volume. So whatever price action's happening today, it's happening on really low volume. And you can tell because the market's just grinding higher really slowly. And it's just this grinding, creeping market. So something to pay attention to. Moves made on low volume are easily fadeable. So if there's any volume that comes on, if there's any downside pressure that comes with any kind of volume, it can easily wipe out this grinding higher price action that we've seen. You don't see it here today, and there's nothing that's showing me that you're going to get it, but you've got low volume. Qs, a little bit better volume in the Qs than the SPY, but still really low volume. Still volume going back to the 2018 kind of high area. This is the last time we had this low of volume. So there is more volume in the Qs, but it's not breakout volume or impulsive volume. It's just this kind of grinding higher volume. So what does that mean? I don't know. The only thing I know is that moves made on really low volume are really easily fadeable. They're easy to take down. They're not, they don't hold strength on low volume. So, I don't know what that means, but it could mean that there's a big move to the downside coming. The other thing I think it's important to pay attention to is the bond market. What is the bond market doing? It continues to sell off. We had a little bounce today, but they sold into it, just continuing to show weakness. This is a pretty big move in bonds over a short period of time. So if this continues or picks up steam, expect to see some fireworks in the market. This could be money coming out of the bond market and going into the stocks, but I don't see that because this big move right here in bonds, the big sell-off, hasn't really made its way into stocks. There's no volume. The volume would show that money coming into stocks. You would see institutional participation in the S&P 500 with volume, and we're just not seeing that in the BND. The BND is, treasury bonds, and this is where the big money plays. The bond market's about 10 times the size of the stock market, and to see a big move, a big sell-off in bonds, that's money coming out of the bond market, and it's not making its way in the stock market because the volume's not showing that. So it's right now, I think it's just sitting in cash. So let's just look at the DXY. I mean, the dollar's selling off a little bit, just slightly, but that doesn't mean that people aren't getting ready for a big move. We need a little bit more information, but I think it's just something to look at and something to, read. It's important to read the bond market and understand what's happening there. So we'll look at some individual stocks. We got this KHC here that we broke up into the gap. Here's what I was looking at. So here's your gap right here, big gap. This is about a 30%, 25% gap right there. And we just started to poke our head up into that gap. You can see we just kind of popped up from under the ground, looked around, and then came back down and held back below the gap. So one thing that I was noticing as we were moving higher, there was no volume, and that's the thing. So I was looking at that. You have no volume, no breakout volume. It just doesn't confirm that move into the gap. So you want to see some sort of impulsive move into the gap. You want to see them breaking it up into the gap and really buying up shares quickly, because if people are jumping on board thinking this is going to gap fill, it'll happen quickly. You'll see an impulsive move up into the gap. So you could get a gap and go or something like that. That's possible. But as of right now, it's just not showing that it's ready to fill the gap. So just continuing to watch that one. We could easily come back down and tag support again at 33.50 again. Here's Zoom. I had a small short position on this one. I scrambled out of that one this morning, and I pretty much broke even on it because I was able to short it right here. It came down, held support. I took off half my trade, and then I bought back the other half right here, and then it started to move back above support, and I scrambled out of it. You can see here, this is your support line right here, and it was a false breakdown on the daily chart. So false breakdown, that's a bear trap. So it's not ready to break down, it looks like. So I went ahead and just got out of that one quickly, and we'll just watch this. There's nothing, not all breakdowns play out. There's always the possibility for false breakdowns and false breakouts. So we have to continue to just evaluate the market that you have, and then as it, if it doesn't, that's why it's so important to get positioned right near risk. Right when you are breaking trend, that's where you want to be positioned, because if you're wrong small and you can get out quickly. Tesla, it's just a rocket ship. I'm not really interested in jumping on board this. Obviously, if you're in it and ride it, it's a momentum trade, so you can just ride the momentum and set your stop, and that's really all that there is. It's just pretty much going parabolic again. And so nothing really there for me, not my style. Here's one, DraftKings. So this one, again, looked like a false breakdown. Again, they're whipping it around the trend line right now. It's really choppy. So I got out of this one as well. Took a small profit and just bailed on it today when I saw that they were recovering the trend line. I don't like the price action. When you have something that breaks out, then it breaks down, then it breaks out. It's just choppy. And there's nothing that, it's hard to trade it. You don't know which way it's going to break. Is it going to break up or is it going to break down? So while it's chopping around, I'll just let it do what it is going to do, and then wait for a more clear signal. Same with XLV. You can see here, breakdown. So we have this bearish rising wedge, and you can see that we broke down the other day, then we recovered it, then we started to break down, then we recovered it. It's just chopping around. So need to wait for that impulsive price action. It'll show itself. It'll be clear when you either it'll come in the form of a gap down overnight, or it'll come in the form of impulsive selling during the day. You'll see it. But until then, it's just, this doesn't, it's just not really worth being involved in until you get that sell signal. I think it's going to come, but we don't have it yet. And I don't know what's going on with this. This is Barrick Gold. Obviously, Warren Buffett took a position in it. And I'm longer term bullish gold and gold mining stocks as well. Warren Buffett's a longer term, value investor. So if he takes a position, it doesn't mean the thing's going to go up right now. It means that he's expecting it to be higher in the next 5 years. Well, I am as well. However, this could be a back test. So here's what I got. We got this trend line, this price channel right here. We broke down and then we broke up. This created a island cluster bottoming pattern right here. However, these usually you want to see these at the bottom of a downtrend. And if you go to the daily, this isn't really a downtrend. It's just a move down and then a move up, kind of at the end of an uptrend right here. So I don't know if this is really going to play out as a reversal pattern. What it looks like to me is this is a back test of this trend line. Here's the daily, and you can see that I've marked it right here. We broke down, we broke up, kind of, just back testing right now. Could be an objective area to actually get short this thing. When everybody's piling on and chasing Warren Buffett's moves, they're chasing the move he's already made. This might be the area where, it's a good short potentially. For the short term, it's not a longer term short, potentially just a shorter term trade, but we could come down and get down into, $20, $21, something like that. So I'm looking at this, I want to see it. I might take a very small starter short at this right here, and just see what it does tomorrow. If if we sell off tomorrow, then I'll add to that. And if we don't, then I'll just close that out. But I wouldn't take a full position or anything. I might just start a short just to see if it's going to reject and this is a back test. That's all I really got today. Nothing, nothing crazy going on. Just a super low volume day. I just wanted to point that out. The volume it's important. It's not everything, but it's something that you need to watch to read what that's telling you. So the bond market price action selling off, the low volume, it's interesting. We need to keep an eye on it and see what's coming down the way. So thank you, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.